All right, grasshoppers. Oh my God, we're 1 minute late. The universes are going to explode. You're going to be sucked into the black hole. The Big Bang Theory is going to happen again. We're 1 minute late. Oh my God. And I'm frozen already. What the heck? All right, so we're going to have to reboot. Nobody's on yet. So, oh, no, we're fine. We're not frozen. Okay. What is going on today? The universes are colliding. Oh my goodness. All right. So it's Thursday, April 4th. So I'm going to start posting more videos of me working out again. Actually, I got away from that. Mimsy, how are you today? Magical creature. We had a fantastic podcast we recorded yesterday for the Full Change podcast. I'm frozen again, for gosh sakes, what is going on with this computer? But a great podcast yesterday. We had Dave Scatchard. I don't know if anybody you know his story. Remember, he's a decent, really good player, actually more decent player. And he went through a whole bunch of stuff. He's a fantastic speaker now, real great motivational speaker. Big Survivor fan too, so we're going to try to get him on Survivor. Lorraine, how are you doing? Susan Brooks, big brawl last night, Susan, at Madison Square Garden. You were probably there. I don't know if Susan likes that stuff or not, but that was pretty cool. Two coaches going at it. They're trying to blame each other. Well, first of all, the visiting team puts his lineup in first, and then the home team gets to counter there. So obviously, what's his name? Travis Green put on his tough guy, at least the one tough guy they had. So of course they're going to come back for the tough guy. So both coaches knew what they were doing. I think it stems back to the last game too, where Remke was suspended for that hit and didn't fight their tough guy too. So Barry Shelley, where are you? Hold on, Barry Shelley. Hello from Alaska, or it seems that, okay. I see you're facetious there. Rod Jameson, you magical veteran. How are you doing up there in beautiful Buffalo? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, really. It was fun brawl last night. You know, to say that, and again we talk about this. I think the NHL doesn't like the fighting because of the TV. It's hard. People people don't want to watch it now. Push the button on the clicker and go someplace else. But man, you're at Madison Square Garden, that goes on. I'm assuming everybody was up on their feet. So these don't know. It's different. I wouldn't call him. It's still, still a tough guy. Like with Remke, he's got to learn to fight because he's just grabbing a guy in the collar. Typically, most guys are good fighters. If the guy's a right hand, throws the right hands, you grab the elbow of the jersey, and then he can't throw punches. It's harder for him to throw punches. So Danny Erickson, how are you doing? Lades, yeah, that's the old name. Or Ledge, he was called Ledge too, but Lades, that's my nickname from playing days. Hey, Lades, get out, eh? Canadian. Good morning, Tom from Rochester. Karen, how are you doing? Great to see you. Beautiful Rochester, New York. So yeah, that brawl. So again, Remke he got challenged to fight in the last time New Jersey played, and he didn't fight. So I think that's right. Travis Green was upset. Like, okay, now we're going to start the fight. Again, it's one of those deals. We've talked about. I think Mark Putnick and I talked about putting Remke back in the lineup. Do you do it? Do you not do it? You win either way. You lose either way, because if you don't put him in the lineup, then he's got to play. He can be a valuable player. There's going to be injuries in the playoffs, and he provides a whole different spark for the team too. And again, there will be injuries, so you got to keep him going. Susan Brooks. When they started, yeah, you're right. As soon as the starting lineup, you see the guys out there. So both coaches knew what they were doing. And Travis Green, he puts his lineup in first, so he knows. Okay, I put my tough guys out there. Now we'll see what happens. And I was okay with Lavalette what he did, putting his tough guys out there too. Well, VC's not really a tough guy, but he started. VC, I guess, was the guy that dropped his gloves first, and so he got the initial penalty. The rest of the guys all got the 10 minutes. Did they all get thrown out too? All those guys, the other four guys, Susan? I can't remember. I need to talk later. I need some menu ideas for Lucien. Oh, good. Yes. Perfect. Absolutely. Yep. I tell you, I made my homemade mustard the other day. I got to get that down a little bit. A little too much of a tang in it. I think I put too much vinegar in it. So it's basically water, turmeric, onion powder, mustard powder, and then you put a little vinegar in it. I guess it makes it last longer, but I put too much in, I think. So we'll get that down. We got the homemade ketchup's good. Made my eggs today. I put the homemade ketchup on it. All vegetables, very healthy. Made turkey meatballs the other day. Had some of those last night. Put some of that homemade ketchup on those as well. So the thing is with ketchup, when you make that homemade ketchup, it's all vegetables, so it's got capers in it, which are technically a fruit. It's very healthy. So you can use it as a pizza sauce. You can use it as a ketchup. You can use it as a marinara sauce for pasta. Are you planning the clip? I had not planned anything. Really not. For me personally, I just don't see the big thing about the eclipse. I'm not that much of a eclipse guy. Okay, there's the sun. All right, see it. See a little bit of it. That's right. Right. So they were ejected. Thank you very much, Mr. Shelley. 8 players got tossed. There's some good plays. Trouba, counter million. So that's 2 defensemen. I remember that happened. I used to love that going 4 defensemen. You get into the game so much. It's like the old game we played the Kings in the 80-81 playoffs. In game 2, we had the big brawl, and we were left with 4 defensemen. I remember, wow, man, that was cool because you're in the game so much. Yeah, you just don't dwell on things. Make a mistake, you just get right back out there again. I think Rimke will get better. He's still a young kid. He's got making. Yeah, I agree. I like his attitude. Like even like being a young kid after the brawl, you just cheering, getting the crowd going off the ice and everything. Yeah, Susan Brooks. That's right. They all got tossed. Yes, that's good. I like that. It's good for the team, right, to get going like that. Especially last year after the playoffs, Jersey. And I think that's part of it from the Rangers end. They swept the Devils this year in the season series, and they were flat last year, so they really needed to get going again. So that was good. What we got here? Frank Larita. Hey, what's going on, Frank? Have we met before, Frank? I don't know if we have or not. I don't know if you've been on the show. Good to see you here. He's a Remke fan. Yep. Kenar. He's a pirate. Kenar 1. He's the first pirate. Kenar 1. That's the old joke. What's the favorite letter? What's the favorite letter of a pirate? R. Except if they're going to sea. Oh, goodness. Bad dad jokes. I heard a bunch of bad dad jokes the other day. Can't remember right now, but my wife and I got Kaylee to spend a few minutes talking last night. All right. For Tom, the hockey player, is nice, right? Her one would answer was, yeah, good job. Kaylee's a sweetheart. So that's Danny and his wife's daughter. She's 12 years old, 14, I can't remember. Great artist. Oh, man, she makes some drawings. And Ken's been, Danny's been forwarding them to me. She's very creative, like her own drawings, very, like not just, it's all about people and everything. Kind of, we're trying to figure whether it's, she's trying to say how she feels or not. She says it isn't. I asked her on the phone. She said that was not her intent, but just, yeah, really, like she's an artist. She's good. Good morning, Tom from Michigan. Your old team at NMU is being decimated by players entering the portal. Oh, God, right. What's going on? I haven't followed that. So the portal, in case people, I think most people know that are college fans, there's this thing that the NCAA has now that if you want to change universities, you enter the portal. I don't know the exact process. So you enter the portal and then you can go to another school. And I loved it up there. And I never would have left. We had a good team too. We got better and better all the time. But that's the thing. And that starts in youth sports where players are jumping from team to team. I would rather, and if I'm a coach or a scout, I want those players that are like committed to my team. Again, we had Dave Scatcherd on yesterday, and we did a podcast with him, the Full Change podcast that you can listen to on all podcast platforms. Please like, share, and comment, particularly on Apple. That's the best for us. But he was fantastic talking about how, that was, teams he were on, that was his team. Like he's a free agent at one point, had some options to go to different places, picked Boston because he thought they had the best chance to win. And then they ultimately got traded. Yeah, I would rather players just stick with their team for their own good, obviously for the team's own good too. Moving around from team to teams, obviously in pro that happens, you get traded and you're a free agent and everything, but I got it. Nice. That's a good one. Pittsburgh Pirates, very funny. Good. What do we got here? Frankie Loretta. Last night's game reminded me of the old days. Yeah. Well, the old days were a lot. And no disrespect to these guys now. They're fantastic. But we didn't fight with shields on. A lot of times these guys are just punching each other's shields. But still, standing there throwing punches in front of 18,000 people. So give them credit for it. So, Susan Brooks, Devils showed last night that they are more concerned with the Rangers than winning. Yeah, after blowing a 2-0 lead the night before, just really needing when they focused on Remke. Yeah. To me, it looks like they're realistic. They're just saying, listen, we're not going to make playoffs. They can still, I guess, mathematically do it, but I think it's been one of those years, and a strange year for them because I think most people, including me, really thought that they were going to have a good season. the Devils, and that did not happen. I had to fire the coach, which I don't know. That obviously didn't make a difference. Travis Green was a former player, so I cheer on all former players. I don't know how good of a coach or bad of a coach he is. I mean, obviously he was in Vancouver, and he was a highly touted coach there, but it didn't work out there either. And they've got a good team now. Who knows? Was that having him move on? Was that helping her? Again, I don't know that team well enough. So my son and I are going to the Rangers Island game at UBS. It'll be first visit to that arena. Oh, very cool. Apparently that's a really nice arena. My son went there, I think, for a concert. My younger son, Cody Hall Laidlaw, CHL. Cody Hall Laidlaw. That's my oldest son is Shane Jonathan Laidlaw. He's not too happy with me the way I spelled his name. So it's Shayne, and then the Jonathan is like Johnathon, right? Jonathan, yeah. So ever meet somebody, everybody always writes his name Shane with no Y. But technology now, once you meet somebody and you get in their contact list, it really doesn't matter. Tom should wear that Pirates pillbox hat. He can pretend that he's John Candelaria. Oh, nice. That's a good, going back, John Candelaria. I used to love the Pittsburgh Pirates. Like Willie Stargell, was it Willie Stargell? And was it the catcher that got killed in the plane crash, or was the outfielder? Manny Sanguine, or all those guys? And we are family. Good. It was fun back then. Yeah, I was a baseball fan. I was a Mets fan when they won in '86. The Pirates are entertaining. He's up to 26 goals, 54 points. Started 2 goals in first 20 games. Has 11 goals in his last 35 shows. But yeah, it's just you never know. Listen, he still may not be what they want him to be, but it's tough. I mean, young kids like that. I think when I didn't turn pro. I didn't play my first pro game until I was 22. I signed my first contract when I was 21. But so in college, I was like 18, 19, 20. Wow, a mudhead. I didn't know how to do anything. Just the social part of it. Everything. Roberto Clemente, that's right. Plane crash, right? Wasn't he doing some charity work for his home country or something there? I can't remember what it was. That was sad because that team was really entertaining. It was it seemed like a real close team, and they played that music all the time. We are family. Okay, Plymouth surprised yesterday that Mr. Dolan is not raising season ticket prices next year. Oh, that's good. That is correct. This is correct. It is expensive to go to the Garden. I mean, it's an experience. Beautiful building. It's fun, but man, it's expensive too. And the food and getting there, parking if you drive in. And then don't they have the congestion pricing going in now, where you're gotta pay more? Yeah. Laffy's playing better. It's just the maturing part of it. Some guys mature sooner than others. I mean, it's the people around you they've got. The locker room is really important. I think when I see the locker room seems to be pretty tight there at the Rangers. What about Seton Hall? Pirates at Seton. There you go. Yeah. Good morning there, Mr. Haynes. Train driver, veteran train driver, or train. What do you call yourself? Train driver or train? Were you ever? No, I really wasn't. No, I mean I watched them a little bit, but it was more again. It was the Mets when they got here. Oh, let me see. Hold on. What's going on here? Earthquakes in Nicaragua, New York. Oh, Curtis Smith. Yeah, they had the earthquakes in Taiwan. The earthquakes were in Taiwan. You see here. Good morning, everyone. Deb, how you doing? Good to see you. No, I played lacrosse and hockey. I wanted to play football, but I was like, God, I always dreamed of playing the NHL. Like, God, if I get hurt playing football and screw up my chance of playing the NHL, then that's not gonna. Let me see. Yeah. They laughed. They made a big deal of Fox playing 30 minutes, and Orr used to play. Yeah. Nixon against Flyers or Rangers. Played forward defenseman there. Yeah. Oh, it's a blast playing forward defenseman. Man, you're just into it so much. I watched that game against the Kings in 80-81 playoffs, and we had the big brawl in game 2 of the series. And so it was myself. Who was it? So it was Vad, myself, Gresh, and who was it? Dave Maloney. And then Dave got hurt. Can't remember. Yeah, he got hurt in that. So I think we went down to 3 defensemen there. Boy, but it was a blast. All right. Oh, I forgot. So Tuesday night we had the Skate with the Greats at Chelsea Piers in Manhattan. All the proceeds went to the Ronald McDonald House. Great event. So I had this young girl, Sonia, and her mother, Maria. They're from Philadelphia. She went through a cancer battle. So again, I think I have this correct. The Ronald McDonald House is for kids and their families to stay. I think it's just for kids that are going through cancer. I don't know if it's all the other, maybe it is other diseases as well. So they stayed there. Total sweetheart. She's 10 years old. Like she got up there and spoke, and she didn't just like say sheepishly say a couple of words. She actually spoke in front of the crowd, and it was like 800 people there. And so I was the MC. They just like now they I don't know what they're thinking. They trust me. They give me the script and just let me go. So I threw in a couple of things and jabs to people and everything, but particularly and Henrik Lundqvist was there, great guy. So so he what a gentleman he is. And man, I give him credit. Like he's on point all the time. Every time he's out in public, the hair's perfect, the suit's perfect, and it reminded me so much of Wayne Gretzky, the way he handled himself and the way other people looked at him too. And he's totally humble about it. But again, he understands his place in the world now that people look at him. I was joking that when I was up on stage, so when I introduced everybody, they'd go stand behind me. And as soon as he got up there, everybody was taking pictures. I said, everybody's taking my picture now. I don't know. It's not a coincidence that Henrik got up here. Yeah, they were not taking my picture, obviously. But he was funny. He walked in. We have a little green room in the back. I was sitting with Nick Fotiu and his lovely wife. And Henry's very nice. Comes over. We've met each other a couple times. To be honest, I don't know if he knows my name, but very nice. He meets a lot of people. He walked over and he goes, "Did you play?" There was a game earlier in the day at Chelsea Piers. So he asked me, "Did I play?" And I thought he meant, "Did I play in the NHL?" I didn't know if he thought that I played in the NHL or not. So I had my jersey there that we were going to put on. So I showed him the jersey. I said, "Yes, Henrik, I played in the '80s with Rangers." And he goes, "No. Did you play in the game today?" So he was trying to be nice. And I just thought, like, he doesn't know who I am. So, yeah, well, pretty much, Susan. You know me, I can't totally stay on script. So I have to get little jabs in there once in a while. It's funny, the crowd, it's a fun crowd, and they're having cocktails and everything. So when the speeches get going, sometimes, people start talking and the noise goes up. And so there's one woman, Ruth, who I think she runs Ronald McDonald House, New York. She's a wonderful woman, but she's also like, people get too loud. She like snaps them in place. Like last year, she gives a little, okay, we need to be quiet. And everybody listened to her too. So I kept giving her a hard time later on in the night that get Ruth back up there again. So it was fun. It's a blast doing it. A great cause. Again, I think they raised close to $900,000, maybe more. That they announced it at some point partway through the night that it was close to $900,000. So for a great cause. So it was a fun night. Steve Vickers was there, Pete Semkowski, Gresh was there, our boy Kotze was there. Great food in the back there too. Really, it's really a fun night. And again, since and they really make it fun. Like the cocktails are flowing, so people are having a blast. And I think it makes sense too, right? Because then they're loosening up the wallets a little bit and have donate more money. They had a silent auction. Roger Bear's wife was there, Judy. She was in a tough spot because they had the script. They had scripted what her and Henrik were going to say when they were at Henrik kind of took Brian Leach's spot. Brian Leach couldn't be there for some reason. And I guess she had some sight problems. So she couldn't read the script. So I had to get it and stump up there and read the script for her. So, I felt bad for her because she's up in front of all these other people. So it worked out all right. I don't think most people didn't realize what was going on, but so I'll get the video of that. Ask for that, and we'll post some of the stuff so people can see. Really well run event. This guy Jerome puts it together. Fantastic event. Really first class. We're treated great as players. Jackie G. Piazza gets us there. Got cars lined up for us and everything. So we're treated fantastic. The cameraman sucked last night, not showing all the fights off camera. According to Darren Pang, Miller took care of business. Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, he was smiling happy. Yeah, I saw that in the video of him smiling. Because I'm assuming he hasn't fought too much. He doesn't seem like that kind of guy. He's a big man, too, long arms and everything. So, let me see. Yeah, they wanted MC Hammer instead of MC Laidlaw. Danny, I give you credit for that one. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. I give credit. Some of the stuff is not, not your little weak on that, but that was good. All right, what do we got here from Jack Smith? The Rangers defense lately has been poor, and the face is poor. They need to clean up this. Yep. Yeah. I guess you could say he's gone, but again, I really point to the fact that I didn't realize this. So this would be his 6th year playing defense. Now you figure for me, by the time I got to the National Hockey League, I played defense for, I started at 6 years old. So what's that? 16 years. I played defense. maybe 15. I think it was a forward when I first started. So, I mean, defense is one of those things that over time you learn to read the play. You got to quickly. You got to make decisions. It's what's the ice conditions, what's the score of the game, what's the time of the game, who am I on the ice with, who am I on the ice against. Read the play. You got to read the play. You got to make the right pass coming out of your zone. So there's a lot of things and it has to happen instantly. You can't sit and think it through because then the play's over with. So I don't know if that's again. I know that this is, I think, his 6th year that he's played defense in total in his life. And again, you can say, well, 6 years he should have had. He's pro, but I think he's like that big, talented athlete. So he gets away with a lot of stuff because he's that. And I really believe over time, and this is my opinion, that he'll get better and better. And you're going to have good and bad times. He did go through that period of time where he left the team, right? So who knows what's going on with him emotionally? I don't think anybody knows publicly what went on with him. So again, there's just so many things going on behind the scenes. Confidence comes and goes. The team's had a good year, so it can kind of shield maybe if he didn't have as good a year. But I still like him. He's just a big guy when he's on game. And again, it seems like there's some mental issue. And again, I know nothing. I'm just speculating based on the fact that he left the team. And it just seems like his confidence where it wasn't there this year, there was last year. So, but all right, Susan, I think he did. He saw the rolls of duct tape when he got up and didn't want them to come out and tape it around his mouth. Marino Turtle big man. Thanks to the Rangers for keep playing with hope alive, breathing. Well, they're still alive, but they're not going to make the playoffs. I don't think New Jersey's going to make playoffs. The team that's really surprising, I think, is Washington Capitals, because they didn't have a lot of injuries and stuff. They kind of quietly sneaking into the playoff spot there. And they've been there before, so who knows? That's the kind of team you think, man, if they sneak into the playoffs, you really want to play them? See where Tampa beat Toronto last night too. And again, that's one game, but I think Tampa's the kind of team too. They've been there so many times. They've got these experienced guys. They know how to win. To them, I'm assuming now, I'm not in the locker room, but listen, if they're one of the best teams in the league, then they want to go for it and win the President's Trophy. But I don't think they would care. Like they know, they're smart enough now to know we just need to get in the playoffs. Once we get in the playoffs, we can beat anybody. Let me see here. I thought the kind of mirror following the footsteps of Ron Duguay into the modeling world. He's a good-looking kid. Yeah, I don't know. I watched Dukes play. I forgot how good of a player Dukes was in the 80s there, the early 80s. Man, offensively, defensively, killing penalties. Him and Dean Talafas together. It's a funny pair, right? Because Dean's born again, or I don't know if he's born again Christian, but he's Christian. Dukes is a born again partier. But when they played together, they were fantastic, man. Killing penalties, they would dominate killing penalties. They really shut down. Marcel Dionne was a great player, but he didn't do anything in the playoffs. I forgot all about that. But Dukes was a good player, really good, man. He could do it all. Make it fly too. He's going down the ice with the hair going a little bit. Everybody hated him with the other teams, but the Ranger fans loved him. Yeah, every time he touched fucking MSG, it's like, dudes. Last year, I was convinced that Miller had the ability to be Larry Robinson with size, great skating ability, and his games should take off. Yeah, I'm not worried about the toughness in today's game for him. And yeah, he could still become, that's a taller order. I think Larry Robinson's at least top 5 defensemen ever played. But that kind of player, yes, big guy that can carry the puck, hit. Yeah, again, it just seemed like, again, purely speculating. I don't know anything. That Condrey just was a confidence thing. Was there so much else going on in his life or something else? Didn't seem to be as focused as he had been, I thought, last year. Yeah, and you would assume that people get better and better. But listen, if you have an off year, listen, hopefully, we know it was great too. Hopefully he can have a great playoff. That means a lot. Like, he played great in the playoffs. That's the pressure games. It means, again, being a defenseman, you got to make smart decisions all the time. You're going to make some bad decisions. You got to recover from those. That's the thing. That is a guaranteed fact with every player that's ever played the games, with people in general. We all make mistakes and bad bounces, and you just have to, especially in playoff time, you've just got to say, I can't worry about that. I made a mistake. It's done. I can't do anything. I can't go back and change that. I have to now. And you don't want to. If you make a mistake, you don't want to do too much now. Make another mistake. You just got to play your game after you make a mistake. That's tough too, because like at MSG, you make a mistake, you hear it from the crowd. Again, it's not necessarily yelling at him. It's like this groan, we talked this before. Ranger fans love their team, and they get so into the game when a bad play happens or a bad bounce. there's a reaction, and you sense it as a player. It's not necessarily somebody yelling at you like, Miller, you're terrible, or Laidlaw, you're terrible. It's more, the disappointment that a bad play has happened. The Ranger, and then 2 seconds later, if a good play happens, they'll go crazy for you. It's they're diehard fans, and they get into the game. So people that barked at Green last night. Too bad Dave Maloney wasn't down there. As I tell. I love when coaches do that too. They both knew what they were doing. The lineups they put on the ice, they both knew it was going to happen. So start yelling at each other, like blame the other guy for him doing it. It's like ridiculous. Yeah, line them up. Again, when Travis Green put his lineup in, he knew something was going to happen or could happen because of the lineup he had on the ice. And then Laviolette counted with his lineup, and obviously, good chance. The two guys are standing right beside each other. The two tough guys. Good chance they're going to fight. Yeah, funny. I don't know why coaches do that. Just line up, say, just look at each other. Okay, we both did it. So, do you plan on line with Goring? Yeah, that'd be a good line. Those two guys flying around together for killing penalties and everything. Deuce is good, man. He was all over. I watched the LA series, the St. Louis series, and he really dominated. He was good. Craig Patrick's our coach too, and in some ways, Herb was a great coach for me, but Craig was a good coach too. A different kind of coach than Herbie. Cowboys for the 19th season with 1 point per game. Oh wow, I didn't know that. 1 point. Imagine scoring 1 point per game for 19 years. Oh my. Right here, what do we got? Fox Allen. No one is selling Sassoon jeans anymore. Ooh la la. There you go. We used to hear that all the time everywhere we went. The ooh la la Sassoon commercial. They'd all the crowd, especially in Philly, they'd always chant that, especially if they were beating us. Deuce was tough too. Dukes can do it all. I forgot how good he was, man. He can do everything: skate, shoot. Yeah. If Robinson had an off night with Kane, you still had to deal with. Oh yeah. It was the whole team too. It wasn't just the defensemen. The whole team played well defensively and offensively. I mean, they were so good offensively too that they had the puck all the time. But I'll never forget. Again, I idolized Larry Robinson so much. We played in Montreal, and Rare Roots Land, who could fly, obviously went down the boards and beat Larry. And I think did he go and score? At least got a scoring opportunity. They started booing Larry Robinson at Montreal Forum. And I remember I'm on the other team. I was such an idol of her. I thought Larry was my idol as far as hockey players. And I was like, what? They're booing Larry Robinson? And I remember talking to him about that when I played together in LA. And I don't think he remembered the exact night because claims to get booed a few times. But he was like in every way as a leader. I know I said this before where I watched the old Toronto-Montreal series and Tiger Williams was playing for Toronto, the playoff series, and something had happened. I think where Tiger got a penalty or something. Montreal scored to win the series, and Tiger still was going nuts. Like, typically a guy will, the series is over with, nothing I do about it. But Tiger wouldn't stop. I mean, it was Tiger. He never quit. And I don't know if the Toronto players asked Larry, so now he's playing on the other team, but he certainly went over to Tiger, and the other players were really kind of encouraging. You could tell to talk to Tiger and settle him down, and he did. Again, this is two different teams. They just battled hard, and so it was pretty cool. He to me just do everything. The thing, where Dugan never gets enough credit was his stepped up. Yeah, you're totally correct. Yeah, and I forgot about it, and I do remember it now. And again, watching the videos, he just is like a really unselfish player too. His face-offs are killing penalties, playing against the top players. Again, Marcel Dion didn't do anything, and it wasn't just him. Mike Allison played a huge role with that, cutting down Dion. It was funny too. Katsi and I played together, and they had J.P. Barry and I can't remember the guys. Two guys that were big guys that were supposed to be hitting all the time. It's like we make it our personal mission just to ram them every time we go. It's funny watching. They did, and you can tell they were they're used to hitting everybody else all the time. And what's that guy's name? I can't remember. And we pounded him all the time. One time, one guy knocked Kotze down after the play, and we just chased him down. It's funny. We were young. We just did Lades on him. Nope. Oh no, Pap would never wear that unless they had corduroy ones. No. Oh, Bernie Nichols. Speaking of Bernie Nichols, he was at the event the other night. Great to see him again. I was walking around, our job is to kind of mingle the crowd, before I get up there and do the MC thing. I was walking around, and I guess I was staring right at him, didn't realize it was him. And we've done podcasts together and everything, so I know he's aged a little bit, but and he was dying laughing. You're wandering around just meeting people. I really wasn't expecting. He didn't know there was a back room, so he was out sitting with everybody else. And good to see him again. Fun guy. We had a lot of fun together, him and I. He was a funny guy. Never drank. if he drank, man, he'd be in trouble. He was funny. He's a fun-loving guy. He lived life. Does love, still loves life. Let me see here. Tiger was Strachey's buddy. Oh, was he? Tiger Williams. I'll tell you what, he was. I've told this before. Bob Boardman and I, we played together in L.A. Tiger had invited us over because we were staying in the hotel. He invited us over for a pregame meal at his house. His beautiful wife cooked dinner for us. And he was the first guy I ever saw with a computer in his office at home. And he had the ticker tape for the stock market. Because he played this, like, he was so smart. Like, he built this reputation on the ice, this nutty guy, but really an intelligent guy. Apparently he did really well after hockey too, investing and everything. So he was an interesting guy when you got to meet him. Because, I watched him as a kid, playing for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I think, man, he's a nutcase. Because he really built that reputation too. And he had that look and everything with the hair. But really, he was smart. Again, there's that story when we, Bobby Carpenter and I got traded to the Kings, and we were on our first road trip and come back on the East Coast. And Bobby had his problems in Washington. We're playing in Washington, this pregame warm-up. And this guy's a big guy, big, huge guy with the popcorn all over his shirt and everything. And he's yelling all kinds of stuff at Carpenter. And then, so at one point, I was skating the center ice. Two players kind of circle around, and the player from each team was kind of skating beside each other. And it was Pete Peters, was goaltender. And he said to me, "Tommy, what is going on?" And I didn't see the Tigers doing. He got up in the glass there and had all the pucks and was throwing the pucks at this guy. He was yelling at Carpenter. The guy's ducking me, the puck's going. And again, that kind of thought to me, "Oh, Tiger really is nuts." I just met him. And then he was smart because he waited till everybody got in the locker room, and he said, "Nobody does that to one of my teammates." So he had the whole thing planned. He knew exactly what he was doing. Again, he waited. I watched him in the locker room there. He didn't say anything. He wasn't mad until everybody got there and everybody sat down. He knew he had their ears. And yeah. I recently watched a clip of the 76 Files and how physical Montreal has got Flyers. Oh yeah. Yeah. I remember watching that too. I think the same thing. Was that the one when Robinson hit Dornhofer, broke the boards there at the Montreal Forum? J.P. Kelly was the one guy, and there was another tough guy they had, a strong guy they had, J.P. Kelly. Oh, can't remember. I'll get it. There's somebody else who remember it. But I remember watching too. Especially J.P. Kelly, because he was like, they say he looked like a linebacker. So it's like, especially when you're young like that, okay, we'll show him who's the real hitter. I mean, I hit him one time behind the net there at MSG, knocked him on his surrender, and then he came to the front of the net, and you could tell, oh my God, he's like, it wasn't just me, it was everybody. Because we had that. It was myself and Kotze and Barry Beck and Eddie Hospodar, and even Dave Maloney and Vat. They may not be as physical players, but they're nasty too, like the stick work and everything. So, I've been watching and think, if I was a forward for LA Kings, like every shift you're getting pounded and slashed and punched. That's funny. Let me see. Trottier had said in an interview he was going to quit in juniors. Tiger goes home, drove him to the games, promising, oh, okay, I didn't know that. Well, yeah. Again, great podcast we had yesterday, Dave Scatcher. Man, when that comes out, we've had a lot of good ones, but another guy that he didn't come right out and say, he's written a book. I can't remember the name of the book now. But another guy that he didn't come right out and say that he contemplated suicide, but he was going through his stuff when he retired. He was careful not to say it was a concussion. It sure sounded like that's what it was, but he talked about how he was talking to God, like, okay, this is it. If I can't get fixed here, then I can't live like this. So my dad thought Bernie Nicholls looked like Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage. Yeah, I can see that a little bit. Yeah, I can see that a little bit. Tiger and Trottier playing the same line with the Swift Current Broncos. Terry Wiskowski was great on that team too. Yeah, Swift Current, Speedy River. You play in those small little towns out in Western Canada, freezing cold in the winter. Oh man. Freezing cold. I was at Chicago Stadium. Ben Wilson pounded Tiger in the box. Tiger took Ben. He hit him on the right side. The left side is all swelled up. Tiger, funny man, Mr. Tiger Williams. Okay, what is Mr. Danny Erickson? I remember the Flyers brought a dog in eggs for some kind of ceremony. The dogs. Yes, I remember that too. That's right. Oh, dog poop. When else I have a bidet for dogs? Right? Clean the dog's butt. Because you think the dog's butt's all hairy and everything too. You guys ever had dogs where dog has like diarrhea or something like that? And you get it clean. You got to give the dog a shower or a bath. Poop all over the hair. It goes in the house. The dog doesn't know any better. Sits down and drags his butt across the carpet and get poop all over the place in the carpet. Still not. I'm still not getting wrapping my head around the whole bidet thing. Just doesn't. So it's too much of a process. Now there are different styles of bidets. There's the ones that are the sprayer is fixed inside the toilet, but there's other ones where it's like a little sprayer, like in your kitchen sink, a little sprayer that you can point it in there. So I see that more. But then again, you still got to come in and dry it. You got to take like the process. Like if you just wipe your butt with paper or toilet paper, you just wipe your butt with toilet paper. You wipe until it's clean. Like then the whole, I don't think you still got to wipe. I'm assuming you still got to wipe some of the poop off, and then you go spray it, and then you got to take a towel to it. Yes, I saw that Costco was selling bidet seats. Yes, I'm gonna have to investigate that. Dean Hopkins, thank you very much, Mr. Jack Smith. Dean Hopkins is the guy. Yeah. Forget Jerry Crow played tough in the show. Yeah, he had a tough series. He's a big man. He's later in his career. And we had some speedy guys that were going around him. But Dean Hopkins is the guy. J.P. Barry and Dean Hopkins. You can tell when the series started too. Like they had that reputation of being the hitters, so they're going to bang us and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if we ever even talked about it really. I think more of a pride thing between myself and Kotze and Eddie and Bubba. It was like there's no way you're gonna do that carpet surfing. Yes, if I'm a dog and I got to scratch my butt, I really can't do it. If you got an itch in your butt, you can't do it with your paw, right? So you just drag your butt across the floor. Poor dogs, right? They rely on us so much. Like for pooping and have to go outside and poop and everything. Yeah. For us, like we can just go poop and we pee. For dog, he has to get our attention. We kept the back door open for Maverick on Sunday, Easter Sunday, and so he can just go to the back door. It's nice weather, so there's a little area there in my back deck where it was grass, and he knows now it's his little spot to go pee. He's getting big, getting be a big dog, my grandson. Jay Wells was on that team. Yes, he was. Tough dude. Oh, man. I played with Jay. Man, what a tough man, like mentally and physically. He had that the way he skated, too. Like skated like John Wayne kind of thing. That's stride. Good guy, too. Yeah. He had a good career. He had a really good career. And he was lucky. He was a big part of coming in the '94 team and winning the cup here. So he did. He knew what I loved New York, and we'd come to New York when we played together. He always was critical of New York and the Rangers and everything. He was more giving me the gears because he knew I loved playing in New York. And then all of a sudden he gets traded and wins the cup, so he has different memories now. See, yeah, Bubba was so big. So we've been with Bone. Yeah, big boys. Yeah. Yeah, they really had kind of like that respect. Those kind of guys like Clark Gillies, and Bubba, and Ben Wilson, they kind of had that respect for each other where they didn't fight each other. Like Bubba and Clark Gillies, I don't know if they ever fought. And you can tell that they weren't scared of each other. Those guys weren't scared of anybody, but it's like, okay, we'll just hold on here. They did hold on to each other during fights and stuff and just make sure to kind of neutralize the other guy. None of our podcast about see how guys tighten up when some guys are tough, some guys act tough. Yeah. Yeah, there's still phonies. It's when we played though, it was hard to be a phony. That's why for me, like I've told us before, like I could fight. I didn't want to be a guy that just fought certain people. I always thought that was kind of cheap. If you're going to fight, then you fight the heavyweights. So you fight McSorley and all those guys. I got in a fight one time with Mike Bullard, and I was like, after it happened, I was like, what? That was embarrassing. And I think I said something to him too. I said, I shouldn't be fighting like that. Kind of guy. Let me see. Another guy who was big was Kent Carlson. Yeah. Was he the guy? Am I thinking about the really talented guy that played in Calgary? Is that the Carlson? Man, he was a skilled guy too. Wasn't all fun. Twice Bubba, once Mulvey. Mulvey wasn't as tough. He's still tough. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think he was in the same class as Wilson, Bubba, Clark Gillies. But he was tough. Let me see here. William Haynes, Montreal. I don't know what he's referring to. Another guy. Oh, he played Montreal. Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah. Who's the guy then? There's a real skilled guy that played in Calgary, the centerman there. Man, he was talented. Let me see here. Bull for some reason became a wannabe tough guy. Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah. That happens a lot with guys who went to Philly. And it's funny, too, when guys get traded away from Philadelphia and they act all tough when the Flyers all of a sudden now they're, hey, Tommy, how you doing? They were all like that. But, yeah, Philly was that place where guys would get pretty brave. Kent Nielsen. Thank you, William Haynes. Thank you very much. Kent Nielsen was the guy I'm talking about that was in Calgary. He's a skill player too. Remember, he was the guy that didn't. Was it? I'm trying to think what goalie. He was a nutty goaltender that played for the Flyers. It's awful. My memory's going. In 78-79, Nicky went 5-1 fights against the Flyers. He went to Philly and badly beat Holmgren and Ben Wilson, who no guys behind him. That was impressive. His backup was Mario Marois. Oh, Nick was tough. Yeah. Ron. What can I think of the? It was a great goal. He played for the Flyers. Always getting in fights and stuff. Ron Hextall. Sorry. I remember the playoffs one year. It was at the end of a game or something, and something had happened. And Kent Nielsen kind of came close to the crease, and Hextall just tomahawked him across the back of the legs, knocked him down. Yeah, Mike Buller. Actually, Mike Buller was a good player. Yeah, but when he wasn't a tough guy at all. And he did start to try to act tough. And that's, yeah. Let me see. Biller does a Penguin only knew one side of the ice. I mean, I'm careful with former players now too, because again, I don't remember. I remember him being a very good offensive player. I really didn't see his defensive game that much. He clearly was the offensive guy. He wasn't counted on it for his defense. But there's a lot of guys like that. Remember the guy Robbie Brown they had in Pittsburgh? He was like that. He had long hair in the back. I'll never forget Hextall chasing him around too. But he was definitely like that. He was just he was an offensive guy. Nicky beat Wilson, but not badly. It was a good fight. I remember that fight too. Wasn't Nicky doing the boxing, or Wilson's trying to get in close and grab on, and Nicky boxing. Like every time Wilson would come close to him, Nicky did punch him in a boxing move more. Ken Nielsen was great with Edmonton. Yeah, that's right. He started in Calgary though, right? I don't know how he ended up getting to Edmonton, but yeah, no, skill player. Oh man. Yeah, they put me on him my rookie year. We were playing in Calgary at the old Calgary Corral. And I had this thing that back then again, I thought it was the toughest guy in the world. So I smashed him across the wrist and then punched him in the head. And he didn't do any of the rest. He was that kind of guy that had that reputation that you try to rough him up. But it was scary to be rough against him. Was tough call there in Calgary at that time because they had a tough team, Plinsky and all these big guys. And in the Calgary Corral, the boards were like you had to get a ladder to get over the boards and like cement. And they had big tough teams, but we had a big tough team that year too. So it was fun. Nicky played in 12 playoff games against Flyers and Ranger, and the Rangers were 11-1. Outscored Flyers 6-2. No brawls in 3 playoffs. Nicky had an impact. Oh yeah, no question. Nicky, yeah, he intimidated people. Especially guys that it wouldn't bother me as much to play against because I really wasn't a big time fighter. But those guys that like Glenn Cochran or Ben Wilson or Paul Holmgren, and they a lot Frank Bailey, those guys, they were known as fighters. Well, then they're gonna have to mess with Nicky. If something happens out there, and that's he would do things. He'd tell me he'd do things before the game. He'd go out there and fix his sticks when the other team is coming in. He'd take his shirt off and go fix his sticks. And Nicky was jacked too, so the guys would all see him what he looked like, and that would intimidate people too. He was good. See, Wilson was working in front. Nicky, who was a true beast, and Wilson held it. No, Ben Wilson was tough. Yeah, he was right up there with the best of them. Like I saw him beat. Even Clark Gillies talked about it a couple of times where, Ben Wilson at least went to a draw with Clark Gillies, but there's no question Ben Wilson was tough. For him, I don't know. I've heard again. We had Ryan Flockhart on talking about how he had to change rooms because he was rooming with Wilson and he was just scared for his life. There was just something wrong with him or what it was, but if he hadn't taken all the bad penalties, like if you watch him play, he can play all situations: power play, penalty killing, can shoot the puck, pass, just stupid stuff on the ice. That's all. Yeah. Let me see. If you ever get Nicky back on, I'd like to get him remember the W2 Whalers. Yeah, Nicky's a great storyteller too. Yeah, we're trying to get him on our Full Change podcast, and I don't know, he just doesn't want to do it for some reason. There's a clip on YouTube of Nicky getting Ben Wilson's face in the corner in 1982, and you're right there watching. It was a great comeback game where Cam Connor. Oh yeah, I think I remember that. Yeah. Oh yeah, it was fun watching Nicky go. It was entertaining because he would, if he started like Nicky was a proud man. He wasn't letting people beat him. So, yeah, are you talking about Ben Wilson here? Yeah. Remember seeing an interview with Clark Gillies, and he talked about how Bobby Nystrom had said to him, he says, "Who's your bugaboo?" or whatever it is. He said, and they were coming up and we were going to play going into Chicago when Wilson was in Chicago, and Nystrom really said to him, he says, "Okay, so you got to settle this tonight." Like, meaning, okay, you got, I think was it Wilson had beat him, beat Clarkie before, and now Nystrom said, "Okay, you got to settle this tonight," and really getting it wound up. And I guess Nicky at one point, or Clark Gillies at one point goes, "All right, Bobby, enough." But Bobby Nystrom's on him. Okay, you got to do it tonight. You got to do it tonight. And really interesting in him telling that. I didn't know they had that kind of relationship. They talked about it. I didn't see other guys, two other tough guys talk like that. And went out and Clarkie, I think Clarkie gave it to him pretty good. But again, I think in the end, Ben Wilson knocked him down. But it was a good fight. Let me see here. He was a jerk. He used to come to my grandfather's bar. Ben Wilson. Yeah, I heard nothing. Pretty much every other player that people talk about say, "Man, that guy was tough on the ice. He was crazy, but what a great guy." Pretty much every other player is like that. But nobody's got anything good to say about Ben Wilson that I've heard. Get him on the show. Safe now. Let me see. When Wilson was a bully, Nick twice. Nicky kept that back his face, took the squad in the 6-0 game. Okay, this is interesting. I've heard this before that Nystrom, that Glenn Cochran was the guy that Nystrom was most worried about. It kind of surprises me. Listen, Glenn Cochran was tough, and again, I've heard this other stuff before. I've never heard Nystrom say that, but I have heard from other people that was the case. That he, again, it was Ben Wilson for Clark Gillies, and it was Glenn Cochran was the guy that Nystrom was like, "I can't beat that guy," kind of thing. You've watched Cochran fight, man. He threw about 100 punches in 5 seconds, just both hands. Great guy. I lost it too, unfortunately. So I really didn't know him that well, but he always seemed to be like a good guy. Like we would see each other. "Hey, Tommy, how you doing?" And you're on the ice with him, and it's a different story. But yes, Moose DuPont was patting Wilson after the Nicky fight. I consoled him last night. Last fight, but Nicky decked him and just missed. Yep. Oh, Nicky, man, he got. He get mad. And he was a great practical joker. I've told this before too. And he was one of those guys though that initially, if you did a joke on him, he didn't take it well at first. Now he would settle down and compose himself. But he was funny. Oh man, we used to be in the old pub there, and there's that. I know I've told the story, but there's that old beam that went down the middle of the bar, and you have to duck at one end. You have to duck down to get to the bar, and then obviously if you forgot the bar was there. Excuse me, the beam was there when we walked away. And Nicky would do that because he wasn't really a big drinker. So if he had a couple beers, it would affect him. So he'd turn around and hit his head and just smack it. And we could have warned him, but we didn't. It was too funny. But he's so funny too because when he did that, then it's like, like 10 guys running out the front door. It was a small front door, so like it's like a funnel. Guys trying to get out the door before Nicky gets to him. We could have warned him. But, Ben Wilson drink alone. Yeah, from what I've heard, that's no surprise. All right, what we got here? Krishna, Nicky, and the rest of a few years ago, stayed with Nicky. I love that. Oh yeah, it's funny. That's probably the only guy that I can think of that you just nobody likes. Maybe some people don't like certain guys as much, but they still say he's not that bad of a guy. But Wilson. Let me see here. I asked Rod Buskus a few weeks ago. Good Lord, on YouTube, he fought everyone. Oh yeah, Rod Buskus, tough guy. Played against him with the Penguins. Where'd you see him? It's interesting. He's a pilot now, right? I played with him at the Kings too. There was great team guys who would fight anybody. He was. I wouldn't say he was a heavyweight, but he would always stick up for his teammates. Good player, good defensive player. Liked him a lot. He was good. He was a good guy. Pilot. That's I like this. Kind of cool when guys get off, done in the game and they do that different kind of stuff. He's a pilot. Al Secord's a pilot. I can't tell you enough. I know I've said it a couple times already, but the Dave Scatcherd interview yesterday that we did for Full Change podcast was unbelievable. Just an impressive guy. I watched him play. Never met him before. I love doing those shows where I've never met the guy before. And I try not to do too much research on him. So I'm really learning about him while the listeners are learning about him as well. And man, when he started talking, I was like, wow, like he's such an impressive guy. Talking about stuff. He's writing a book himself. And he's funny. We got in and talked about Survivor. He was a big Survivor fan. I didn't know that. And he was all excited to talk to me about Survivor. I guess he had just set in 3 tapes, auditioning tapes. So I'm going to call the people there at Survivor to see if we can help him get in. That'd be funny to watch him. Again, his personality's over the top. Airbnb in Vegas. Rod Buskus. Oh, cool. Rod Buskus. Man, he had a good career. He was one of those guys that you look back on, man, he really got a lot out of his career. Randy Hillier was a similar guy there in Pittsburgh, too. I saw him recently in Pittsburgh. It's funny, we'd never met each other before, but again, I think because we played against each other and kind of played the same game, we were all excited to meet each other, right? Like he's Rod Buskus in that category, Timmy Waters, Brad Marsh, all those guys. Rick Zombo, we did a show recently with Rick Zombo. He was in that category too. Guys that were skill exactly was not our forte. Big hearts, but no, a lot of will, no skill, or little skill, not no skill. I love thinking toss that way. Oh yeah, listen, you're gonna fight. You're not always gonna win. I remember we had a brawl in Gord Lane, I believe, gave it to him a little bit, which was surprising. Gord Lane was tough too, but I thought Nicky was better. But again, that's the thing. You're going to fight. You're going to lose sometimes. I remember when I fought more early in my career, I went after some guy. I wanted to kind of prove a point or get our team going in the Garden. Fell down. He spanked me pretty good. Just you get up, and I remember, you're embarrassed too. You're at Mascaro Garden in front of your teammates, in front of the other team. You get beaten in a fight. That's some of the worst things about it. You usually don't get hurt, but it's a pride issue, right? Because you're out there trying to do something for your team, and then you don't get it done. So you kind of hurt the process, right? Again, you're trying to get your team going and get in a fight, and then you get beat. Who was it too? I can't remember. I think we have friends on Facebook too. Man, I can't remember anything. Tim Hunter, Tuesday says Bob Probert was tough, but Nick Fotiu was tougher. Oh, yeah. Well, that was this thing. I never fought Probert, but people talked about how Probert really wasn't that heavy a puncher. He was tough. You could hit him all day long. He wasn't going to go down usually. Although he did get beat sometimes. Craig Cox. The fights with Craig Cox and Probert. There's one at their Joe Louis Arena in Detroit. I think Cox was with Vancouver at the time, and obviously Probert's with Detroit. And they stood there and threw bombs at each other, and they were landing too. It's like, how are those guys standing up? There's a great fight with Probert and Marty McSorley too, where it went forever. And both of those guys kind of had their reputation. They really weren't heavy hitters, but they would never quit. And you could hit them all day long too, and they wouldn't go down. Yeah. Let me see. Tom, I asked Wilson Lamar who the toughest in age was. He was. Oh, he did. Well, no, Nicky was. But back then, you remember there's tough guys. Dave Semenko. Again, all those guys up in Boston. Like Terry O'Reilly was one of those guys too. Like, God, if you get in a fight with him, it's just never going to end. The fight's never going to end, and now you're going to have to fight him all the time. I saw him in those fights against Clark Gillies in the playoffs there with the 79-80 when ultimately the Islanders won the first cup. Man, they had 4 fights during the series, and Clark, he was that kind of guy. I think he broke some of O'Reilly's teeth and everything. Again, apparently they were, to the day that Clark finally lost his life, they ended up being great friends, supposedly. It works like that too. Guys have that rivalry, and then they get together to play charity games and stuff, and there's that respect. Yes. Yeah, Hillier and Mel came up together in Boston. Andy Hillier. Certain guys like you played against, you really respected them the way they played the game. I guess it's a lot like your game when you play. He was one of those guys. He was so good too. He had the full head of hair, but it was white. It's weird seeing a guy, had, like, again, Luc Robitaille was like that too. I hadn't seen him in a while. He had full head of hair, but white hair. And, I don't have any hair, so I shouldn't be talking, but just seeing a guy after a while and aged a little bit. Probert in his Chicago days lost a lot of fights. Darren Lang did fight against Probert. Yeah, Probert had his off-ice issues at that point too. To me, you look back, you watch that documentary about him. It's almost amazing that he fought as much as he did back in those days, because he was really struggling with drugs and alcohol. Unfortunately, Langdon was tough too, though. Oh man, I watched him fight the Grim Reaper, and man, like they could throw bombs, and somehow Darren was so smart of a fighter, and he waited, and they started throwing his punches. And I think it would frustrate some of the heavyweights because they thought they should beat him in the fight, and he just never. And he'd take on everybody too. I remember him saying to me one time that he fought Probert. Probert was throwing punches at him, and he says, "I can hear his breath getting harder and harder." And I'm thinking, you really listen to his breath? I'd be like, "I'd get the heck out of there." So he was a smart fighter. Like a lot of guys like me, if I fought, I just get mad and start throwing punches. But Langdon wasn't like that. He was really controlled, knew what he was doing. Really with strategy to it. He said, punches hurt like, oh wow, yeah. Oh, John Wencey too. Oh man, I mean that's my first NHL game, first regular season NHL game up in Boston. Stan Jonathan was another guy that had. Stan Jonathan was the kind of guy that you hit him all day long too, and he wasn't even doing it. So like, what are you doing? Like, why are you fighting him? And so Stan Johnson, Wencey, Terry O'Reilly. I know I'm missing guys too. Yeah, they had a tough team. They had like 6 or 7 guys that were heavyweights. Oh man. All right. Darren Langdon was a great fighter and the stamina only. Yeah. Langer was great things to say about Tom. You know what? He was thank you. He was very nice when we did our podcast. Well, it was one of those unique things that I had never even seen him play before. I knew his coach. He was in East Coast League. Names are Noel something. Noel, his coach, anyways. And the Rangers, Larry Plow was the assistant GM and the GM for Binghamton, and they wanted to sign Darren to bring him in as a tough guy. And so Claude Noel was the coach, and so he called me up. He said, "Listen, can you do this contract for this kid?" I said, "Yeah, sure, that's fine." And then Larry Plow, I guess he was there a couple of days in Binghamton. Larry called me up actually and said, "Man, this guy can play in the National Hockey League." So obviously, I had to get to work more. If you're just going to be a minor league guy, really wasn't much I could do for him. But then obviously now I had to get a contract done for him for the NHL. And I lived here in New York, and he obviously played with the Rangers. And he tells a story too about Mark Messier was the captain at the time. And Darren come in and really proved that he's a big part of the team now as a tough guy. And he came into practice one day, right, playing on our practice rink, and there was like $1,000 suit sitting in the stall. And he asked the trainer, he said, "What's this all about?" And he says, "Mark Messier bought it for you." That's, he kind of like he was new to the team, didn't have much clothes, probably didn't have much money. So Messier took care of him. Pretty classy move. Pretty smart move too, right? Really clued him in the team. And, but Probert was older and his opponents were much bigger. Usually, yeah, you felt bad for Probert because, every young kid's coming in, they want to take their shot at Bob Probert, right? They got to prove themselves. They got to prove that they can say that. But Dougie DeVito, how are you doing? Magical creature. Let me see here. Durbano said he gave Nicky a good shot, then said to himself, "Oh, yeah." Nicky was definitely one of those guys. If you hit him, it's like, "Oh God, here we go. Now he's going to get mad." Like, and Nicky was a proud man too. So if you ever got the best of him, he was coming back. He would not let that lie. That was his reputation. That's his job. Yes. Oh yeah. Wilson get drunk and just blurt out. Yeah. Wow, that's interesting to hear you say. Well, it's not a surprise from one of the things I've heard about him. Yeah, he just like, I mean, what's the one game we're playing against him in the playoffs? Eddie Meal was in net, and Wilson just skated right. Nothing was going on. He skated by him, he really didn't even smack him in the back of the head. It's like a tap in the back of the head. Like, the guy called for it, of course. Like, what are you doing? Like, it's pointless. It's not gonna. It's not changing the way we play. Like, it's not gonna stop us. So, Don Cherry was brutal. Once he scored 28 goals, and Grapes was Johnny Boy better get back to his game. Yeah, well, the old saying was, you came in as a crusher, you try to be a rusher, you're soon to be an usher. And that's the way it was back then. If you prove that you're a tough guy and you wanted to change your game and be more of a goal scorer, you better be one heck of a goal scorer, because that the expectation was that you were going to still be that fighter. So evidently Winsink was is a great carpenter. Oh, wow, cool, nice. I like that. Again, I like that former players get into stuff like that, really good at something after they play. Again, playing is fantastic, but that's just a small part of your life. You got a long life after that. One day, Wilson was in the bar, and he was so was Kirk Fraser, and some paper asked Fraser was obliged, and Wilson said, "Get away." Fraser told him, "Yeah, that's it. Well, hockey players are good that way. They like, be good to the fans. You got to be good to the fans. Like, who are we? Somebody wants your autograph." I do get a kick, like especially like the events we had to skate with the greats at Chelsea Piers on Tuesday night. It's so interesting watching the fans with Henrik Lundqvist. We got this little back room, and he's really good. He didn't just sit in the back room all the time. He was out signing autographs, getting pictures taken, and everything. This one, but again, he comes in the back room, and there's still an entourage. Like, there's 2 police officers by him, and other people are in there. And it's supposed to really be just for the players, but with him, it's different. So other people were there, I'm assuming he knew them, whatever. And this one dad with the Ranger jersey on wanted me to take his son in there. I said, "I can't. It's just, first of all, I'm not going to get to him." And the guy was mad. I felt terrible because he's a little boy and everything, but it wasn't like I didn't want to. It wasn't going to happen. It was clear that nobody was getting around Henrik. And again, I was lucky to play with Gretzky, and I saw that same thing where, again, both great guys. It wasn't them; it was more the way other people treated them because of who they were. Since you don't see him very often, Henrik is that. Wayne's got that certain aura about him as well, but Henrik's really got that. Like, it's not this is his career, but here's this guy, this great looking guy, Hair is perfect, the suit's perfect, and again, the way he carries himself, really classy and very accommodating to fans, to everybody. So he really carries himself well. You can tell he really is aware of his brand, and I mean that in a very good way. So he does a really good job. Like I said, I felt bad. You can tell he'd seen me before. So I doubt that he knew my name, but he was trying to be nice when he walked up and asked me if I played. And I said, again, I thought he asked me if I played in the NHL. And he's, no, just played the game today. Look at his face. I think he must have thought maybe, he disrespected me. I certainly didn't take it that way. Tom have on micro, not about hockey, but getting a trade and a great paying job. He was a great charity to promote and give away jobs for kids. Oh, wow. Very cool. Yeah, micro was, things didn't go. The only thing I didn't like, he did well when he was down in Florida, I believe, running the team, and they fired my boy there, Jared Gallant. Apparently, they didn't even give him a car. He had to jump in a cab. It just seemed like they didn't handle it in a very professional way. Kind of embarrassing. But again, that's one shot. And again, I don't know the full details. That's the way it ended up, anyways. And again, he took the heat for that because he was a GM. So it may not be the responsibility. But have you ever met any guys? No, I have not. No, no, I don't think so. No, that'd be cool. Let's see. Where we had Red Wing hitting. Wilson kept talking about how he hated Duguay. That's the thing. A lot of people hated Duguay because Duguay was having so much fun. Everybody wanted to beat Duguay. That's why they hated him so much. Kevin Bonjour, monsieur. Good to see you. Yeah, we lost that police officer. And again, what was it? I saw a video to the governor trying to get into the funeral or something like that, and they weren't ready. She barged in, and the family apparently really ripped into her. It came across as she was very disrespectful. This is the way it was reported, anyways. All right, everybody. Again, all right, let's make sure we're all taking care of each other. Again, we got that 988 hotline for suicide prevention and mental health, shoulder check movement. Bottom line is, let's really make sure we're taking care of each other. And we lost a couple of hockey players there a couple of weeks ago, but again, it's not just hockey players; it's everybody. Our mental health in this, around the world, in this country, we need to help each other a lot. There's a lot of people that need a lot of help, so let's make sure we do that. Have a fantastic weekend. We'll see everybody on Monday. Actually, no, I apologize. We've got a show tomorrow with Mark and Molly, which is going well. So we got that at 2:00 tomorrow. And what else we got? We've got then on Monday we got Mark Puttenvink. And then again, we'll be here on Thursday. So everybody have a fantastic weekend.